The Office of the First Lady, in collaboration with the Body of Christ, that is set to stage a unification concert called One Nation, and also to launch the free sanitary pad for teenage girls attending school. That is scheduled to take place on the 8th of March 2020 at the National Stadium, has held a press conference with media practitioners in order to explain the rationale behind the concert for them to help promote it. After successfully launching the Hands of Our Girls campaign, Madam Fatima Bio saw the need to develop a campaign around menstruation, which seems to be another deterrent for school-going girls. While speaking to journalists at her Wilkinson Road office, the First Lady said that it took just $11.50 to provide a sanitary pad for a kid for the whole year, and if Sierra Leoneans could commit themselves to the campaign, schoolgirls will not stay away from schools.
Some of you might not know this, but our kids are missing out of school sometimes 84 days a year because of menstruation. And that is something that some of us don't know. Some kids, the moment they start to see their menstruation, they don't bother to come to school at all until they finish and then come back. When you calculate that for a year and you miss out of school 84 days a year, it's like missing out of a whole term of your school year. And that for me is, there is no equality in that. And if we want equality in this country, we have to find a way for our girls to be in school and remain in school and acquire the right education at the right time, not only when their body allows them to. So we're here today to present to you the One Nation concert. The One Nation concert is an idea brought to me by my sister Rebecca, who is also an international gospel artist in the United Kingdom from Sierra Leone here, who is doing very well. When we launched the free sanitary pad campaign December 14, she came down from the UK and said we can do a concert and raise fund. At the beginning, I thought she was a little crazy, but then gradually buy into her idea, and I know that idea is one that this nation will embrace, and that is an idea that I believe we're not only going to embrace it, but we're going to change the mindset of menstruation, the mindset of our girls in school, and understand why we have a whole lot of dropouts in our schools. So ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Hands of Our Girl free sanitary pad. This is a pad that costs only $11.50 per child. $11.50. With this sanitary pad that I'm holding, this pack here, you can save a child for a whole year. Some of the reason why we have teenage pregnancy in this country, some of the reason why we have rape in this country, some of the reason why we have dropouts in this country is because most of our girls cannot afford this. And when you talk about menstruation, menstruation is part of our body. Menstruation has to happen. As long as you're a woman, you have to see your menstruation. So I don't think we have any reason to be shy of talking about menstruation. Just as I don't see any reason why we should be shy to talk about sex, because it is so forbidden here to talk about menstruation, so forbidden to talk about sex, and we all know it's happening.
She further reiterated that schoolgirls observing their menstruation period usually stay away from school, which is detrimental to their education. Madam Fatima Bio also stated that menstruation should be a topic that people should be willing to talk about and open, just as sex, for it is affecting girls.
It is better for us to educate our kids. It is better for us to prepare our children so that they know when that changes come, they know what they're expecting. It is for us parents, it is for us adults Our duty is to actually educate our kids so that they understand the reality of the world. And I'm saying to people who would say, well, sanitary pad is not priority. It is a priority for every woman. As long as you're a woman that still have to see your menstruation, you need a sanitary pad. But then if you have girls in the villages, girls in some part of the provinces, girls in some part of the city here, Freetown, who still use cloth as their own means of protecting themselves. The hygiene system for that is just one that is not good for anybody. The self-confidence that it takes away from our girls when they can't go to school just because you're scared. As an adult, when I'm seeing my menstruation, I'm always jumpy. Even when I have the best sanitary pad on, I'm always jumpy. What about the kid that don't even have a clue what a menstruation is all about?
She also highlights that she has always been doing projects that resonate with people, and this project is something every Sierra Leoneans should be part of. She commended Sister Rebecca for coming up with One Nation concept idea in order to raise funds and create awareness on menstruations, which is considered a taboo. She therefore called for the nation's support to raise money to buy sanitary pads for schoolgirls.
But the concert is really how can we empower our girls and how can we change their lives and which way we can also contribute to national development so that our girls will stay in school, remain in school and acquire the right education, just like the boys. So there will be no difference. You won't have any reason to say this is the reason why I am not in school unless if you are really sick. And let that be the only issue. A boy and a girl will say, this is the reason why I am not able to come to school. But just for sanitary pads, I don't think that should be a reason. And I'm calling on all Sierra Leoneans to embrace not only the One Nation concert, but for every activity that involves this sanitary pad issue.
For Star News in Freetown, George Elliott Sam reporting.